We are at Buffalo Wild Wings with the Elida Bulldogs in this Seifert Orient's Funeral Home Pigskin preview. It is packed with Wildcats, with Indians. We've got some Elida Bulldogs and Bearcats as well. Jason Carpenter is to my left. Tyler Smith down at the end, a senior defensive end, also a pretty good wrestler. We might talk about that. We'll see. Coach, how are things going in the early going? The defense was so veteran last year. Some good skill guys are back with experience, but has your focus kind of been seeing how those young guys step in?
Yeah, right now we're searching for leadership, vocal leadership. We just got to make sure that our new guys in the back end of our defense know their assignments, and that's the hard part because we run, I guess, a complicated system, if you will. Not a lot of teams run the system, so there's a lot of rules and rule changes to the defense. And it mostly affects the back end, the linebackers and the defensive backs. So with experience at the D-line, hopefully it'll help us against the run. But the back end, I'm a little worried about teams throwing the ball against us with all those new guys in the back end. But I think our defensive line and our middle linebackers are going to do a good job against the run. And when you play in the WBL, teams want to run the ball. So that's going to help the back end of the defense. If we can get some pressure on the quarterback, then that's going to make our coverage a lot easier.
Tyler, how has this summer gone for the Bulldogs?
We've just been working, lifting every day, and just working out, getting in conditioning, and just trying to become a team, get together, and work together.
Tyler, Coach talked about that defensive front as being so key as far as the leadership goes. How do you feel you guys are kind of setting the tone defensively?
We just need to be a strong force together, make sure nothing can get past us, and just lead the way, make sure we take control and tell everyone else what they need to do.
Coach, last year you felt so confident in your defense. You said as long as we scored 21 points, we got a pretty good shot at winning a game. This year, is it almost kind of the opposite where you're going to need your offense to win some games for you?
Well, I think it just took a couple weeks for our offense to click, last year, and I knew there was going to be rare occasions where our defense gave up double-digit points, and we saw that early. I think our first game we got to 30, and our defense held Pickwood to 7. The Wapak game, we got to 21 first, and Wapak was at 14. So, at the beginning of the season, it was true. We get to 21 points, we should be all right. This year, I'm hoping that with a lot of guys coming back on offense, 3 offensive linemen coming back, running back, quarterback, one of our wide receivers, and some of our other wide receivers stepping up. I'm hoping that we can get to 30, 40 points, and that way it takes a little bit of pressure off the defense, seeing how we had to rely on them last year. So, I think our defense is going to come around. I think we're starting to see flashes of that. But I think early on, maybe our offense will have to carry us, and that's going to be on us coaches making sure we're prepared, and I know we will, but putting our guys in the right situations in each game.
Coach, I got a chance to see your scrimmage against Fort Loramie. Logan Alexander looked bigger and more confident. What have you seen since he's come back from that injury last year in his development?
Well, physically he's a lot bigger. I think I measured him out today, 6 foot, 190 pounds. And so that's about a 20, 25-pound difference from last year. But, he knows the offense. Now we're focusing on his eyes, making sure he knows the reads. He's going to have to run the ball, so being a little bit bulkier, he's going to take some shots. You can see that run right there. Maybe he got a little quicker, I don't know. Hopefully he got a little quicker, but he's going to have to run the ball a little bit for us and take the pressure off of Shanquez because we ask our running backs to do so much with the pass blocking scheme. So he's going to have to put us in good situations, make the right reads, and we should be pretty good offensively.
Tyler, the last couple of years has become the norm for Elida to make it into the playoffs. How big was it last year for you guys to get into Week 11? Having graduated what you graduated off the 2011 team to get back in the postseason in 2012?
It was pretty good because people were doubting us and putting us down, but we still worked hard and fought through and did it anyways, proved them wrong. We plan to do it again, work hard, and just do what we can.
Tyler had a great wrestling season last year. How much do the wrestling fundamentals and the work you put in the mat room carry over to football?
They carry over a lot, just a lot of hard work that carries over from the mat. and just technique, working with your hands more, and it just helps a lot in many things in the game.
Coach, when you look at the rest of the Western Buckeye League, by my count, you've got the 4th longest tenure of any coach in WBL at that school. It's pretty amazing the turnover the Western Buckeye League has had in the last couple of years with the coaches.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that after the first 2 years, but yeah, a lot of turnover, but you know the skill's still there in our league. You got Mike Mock and Kenton, you know they're going to be really good. Jerry Beauty is always going to have a solid team there. Ken Schreiner at OG, those kids are going to be disciplined, hard workers, and tough-minded. So, you know, the core guys are there in our league that you still got to shoot for. You got to shoot to beat Kenton. You got to shoot to beat OG. They're going to be at the top of the league every year. But, you know, with new turnover comes, okay, what are they going to run offensively? What are they going to run defensively? So it kind of keeps you on your toes as a coach because sometimes you're going into it not knowing exactly what teams are going to run. So you got to watch them on film and make sure that you scouted them well enough to know their tendencies and what they want to try and do to you.
You talk about your defensive front being kind of the capstone of your defense. You look at the schedule, teams that like to run are basically the first 5 weeks, St. John's, Defiance, Wapak, St. Mary's, even Van Wert you throw in there, though they're passing it more. Pretty comfortable with you're going against running teams, especially that week 1 matchup with the Jays going to be a good one?
Yeah, and we talked about it as a coaching staff a couple days ago, maybe last week, how man, we're not going to see many formations, you know, from St. John's to Defiance to Wapak to St. Mary's,
yeah.
But man, we're going to see some teams that just want to pound the rock, and sometimes that takes a toll on our guys. So we got to make sure that we have our horses ready to go in those weeks. But man, they're going to try and jam it down our throats. And I just told our guys the other day, I said LCC is going to do the same thing. You know, Fort Loramie tried to jam the ball down our throats. So we're going to see back to weeks of guys just trying to cram it down our throats. And that's where hopefully the strength being our D-line is going to help us out and be able to stop the run to force them to do something that they might not be comfortable with.
Bulldogs open up at home taking on St. John's, a game you'll see on WOSN. Tyler, you got a little bit of time before that matchup with the Jays. What do you need to work on the most before that week 1 matchup?
We just need to get smarter as a team, just learn our spots and get in the right position and use our right techniques, and that'll help the most. And then maybe a little leadership too.
Coach, same question for you. Leadership you had mentioned before, is that what you're looking most for in this next scrimmage?
Yeah, I'm looking for guys to step up, kind of be that vocal leader. If not, just lead by example, you know, kind of follow me attitude. It's okay to not have the vocal leaders, but as long as we have guys who will say, you know, jump on my shoulders, follow me, this is how we do things, we're going to be okay.
Need to take a timeout on this Elida season preview show from Buffalo Wild Wings. When we come back, more from the Bulldogs here on WOSN.
Back at Buffalo Wild Wings on this Seifert Oriens Funeral Home Pigskin preview. Seanquez Fry down at the end, a senior running back, and Tyler Fay sitting next to me, a senior defensive end. You were telling me before, 150-pound defensive end, you're proud to be where you are. Just how are things going your senior season?
You know what, I'm actually, pretty happy with myself right now. I mean, I really can't get all the 200-pound offensive linemen, but I can run around.
Seanquez, tell us about this offense. It seems like there's a lot of guys back, particularly the skill positions, that got some experience last year, and it might be the offense that can really carry the Bulldogs this season.
Tell us about the offense. Seems like you can carry the team this year.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely help carry out the team. I'm the only senior on the offense, but I'm pretty sure I can do my job. And I trust the young guys I'm with, and I'm pretty sure they can do their job too.
How important is it to have those skill guys back, to have Logan Alexander back in his second-year quarterback, a guy like Clark Etzler you can count on as well? Some of those younger guys that really learned a lot last year. How important is that?
That's very important. They got experience, a year on varsity. That's great. I'm happy that they're back there, and I trust them, so I know they can do good.
Tyler, as you take a look at the schedule, what games stand out to you as the games that you're really looking forward to this season?
Like every year, I'm hoping we beat Kenton every single year, I mean, last year didn't go too well, but, I really think that we have a chance to, really put up a good fight this year and beat them.
Tyler, you saw the team that didn't win any games for Elida. You were in middle school at that point. You saw them come back to 500, now 3 straight playoff appearances. How special is it to be a part of that and to see where this Elida program has come in the last 5 years?
You know, it's really great that I've been special enough to be, on the high school team for every year that they've been in the playoffs. And I'd actually, really like to carry that on, 4 years of going to the playoffs. And actually, it'd be nice to make it farther, We're a young team right now, but definitely something that we could work towards and give good.
Seanquez, what are some of the team goals, and what do you need to do to accomplish those goals this year?
One of the main team goals is to, work hard, play hard, and make it to the playoffs another straight year. And things we need to do is just stick to our assignments and do our best, our roles, and keep our teammates' heads up and make sure we're all focused and ready to play.
Seanquez, week 1, you have Delphus St. John's, a team that likes to run the football. How excited are you to have that week 1 matchup coming up here against the Blue Jays?
That's amazing. It's a blessing to have a great team like that first week. Get the hard stuff out the way. That way we're experienced going on throughout the season and we can make up for our mistakes we made.
All right, we need to take a break on this side for the Orions Funeral Home Elida season preview show from Buffalo Wild Wings. When we come back, more from the Bulldogs here on WOSN.
One more time with the Elida Bulldogs here at a jam-packed Buffalo Wild Wings. We appreciate their hospitality and their wait staff being very busy here tonight as we're joined by 3 more dogs on the Seifert Orions Funeral Home Pigskin Preview. To my right is Jared Winger, a linebacker and tight end. To my left, Chance White's a senior defensive lineman. And down at the end, we have Avery Sumter, a senior tight end and DB. Let's start with you, Jared. You're one of those younger guys that have had to take on roles for guys like Quentin Poland stepping in. How are things going with the linebackers and those defensive backs?
We're doing pretty good. We're working on alignments and getting to the ball, getting the outside and everything.
Coach Carpenter talked about it being some difficult schemes, some different checks and balances. Is that tough to kind of comprehend what you're doing here and there? Is it a little complex?
Yeah, it's hard. We have a lot of different formations and stuff and lining up on different offenses, but we're getting it.
Chance White's verbal to play at Bowling Green State University next year. First of all, take us through that recruiting commitment and why you chose BG.
I had to talk to my parents a lot about it, my coaches. Coach Carp helped me a lot, and the process, it's difficult, and I'm still going through it right now and everything, but I chose the school because it feels like the coaches are here, so that's basically why I chose it.
You've had some guys go ahead of you, Quentin Poling to Ohio, Reggie McAdams for basketball. Did they lend any knowledge, or were you kind of on your own with your family?
Q did a little bit, but basically just me and my parents and coach.
Okay. Defensive line is very strong coming back, Tyler Smith and yourself. How do you guys lead at the front of the pack when you have some new guys behind you? Is that kind of difficult? You're obviously going forward, but I'm sure you're still trying to lead those guys behind you.
Yeah, we're. I think that's the vocal part of our defense is the D line right there. We got 2 big guys, me and Will, and then our ends. I feel that we're real comfortable there too and everything, and I think we should do good this year, really.
Avery Sumter down at the end, tight end, defensive back. How are you fitting into your roles here this year as a senior?
I'm a little shaky, kind of new at the whole tight end spot, but I'm getting it down pat.
What's that like, learning the playbook in that position? How much does a guy like Logan kind of direct you and where to go?
He helps a lot, honestly. When I don't know, I just ask him or ask the coach, so he's always there to help out.
Chance, as a senior, what are you trying to do to lead this football team? And maybe some of the things, the guys that you've grown up with, when you were a sophomore making that state semifinal title run, maybe some things you're picking and choosing from some of those leaders that you're trying to envelop?
Just have a vocal voice, really. We only got 8 guys coming back, so when you got all them other players and only 8 seniors that are on the team, it's hard, but coach is helping us through it and all, and I think we're starting to get a hang of it being our leaders.
What's the biggest thing you guys need to do before week 1 against the Blue Jays?
Just read our plays, and that's basically it. Just do what we're taught to do.
Jared, what are you looking to get out of the scrimmage coming up this Friday?
I'm just going to try to work on what I need to do to get better at it so we'll be better for St. John's.
That's a big game. It'll be on the WOSN Sports Network Delphus St. John's coming to Elida that first Friday night. Then they open up WBL play, hosting Defiance Week 2 before road trips to Wapak, St. Mary's, and then home for Van Wert. Thanks to Coach Carpenter and his crew for hosting us. Thanks to Cypher Orient's Funeral Home for being tonight's premier sponsor. And thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings. Good wings, come on out here and enjoy the games on WOSN.